After a long hiatus, the Hitman series finally returns with Hitman Absolution. Advertised as the next big stealth game, it features a more involved story and overhauled technology. But does it really live up to the hype? You might be surprised to find out there are probably more cutscenes in this game alone than in the rest of the series combined. Hitman Absolution takes significant steps toward delivering a cinematic experience. However, Agent 47's tale of redemption is a contrived mess of absurd scenarios and characters, and even goes so far as to contradict series mythos, particularly Hitman 2. The contradictions extend to the gameplay as well. Without any explanation, Hitman is suddenly a delicate little flower that can only take a few bullets before biting the dust. Even with the addition of a surprisingly solid cover system, the guns blazing approach is no longer a valid one. It might seem silly to criticize a stealth game for focusing more on stealth, but in Hitman, taking away the ability to go on a rampage means you can no longer experiment and discover what items and people you are actually supposed to interact with. It's like taking away the trial from trial and error. All you're left with is the error and the frustration. But the series was never really about high body counts. It's about observing, planning, and executing. This holds true for Absolution, but the game design and atmosphere are nowhere near as inspired as in previous games. The disguise system has been outright compromised, as people wearing the same outfit can recognize you instantly, and unique clothing is now a rarity. To make up for this, 47 now has Instinct mode. By activating it, hints are revealed, and Hitman covers his face, somehow making those around him less rather than more suspicious. The series is no stranger to absurd scenarios, but these inconsistencies spoiled the immersion. The new checkpoint system is the worst in the series, as not only are they few and placed erratically, but each can only be used once. There's a reason the series allowed manual saves since its second installment, and the save system used here is quite the bitter reminder. Jasper Kidd's departure is also particularly noticeable, as the music in Absolution is completely forgettable. Which is a shame, since Absolution boasts borderline photorealistic graphics and believable AI. Seeing dozens of highly detailed and carefully animated NPCs interacting with each other's, going through their routines all without a sign of slowdown is just unreal. Crowd AI in particular is a far cry from IO's previous games. When things get hot, instead of moving chaotically in a Brownian motion, NPCs will run toward the nearest exit, leaving the area you're in empty in a short time. And instead of running towards you and occasionally sidestepping like defective robots, guards will take cover, take potshots, and try to flank you like real human combatants. The biggest issue is that the game tries really hard to be like Splinter Cell Conviction, but mostly fails. The Hitman games were supposed to be about hiding in plain sight, as the game was even advertised as such, so hopefully you enjoy the sight of cover, since that's all you'll be seeing for the most of the game. The mark and execute feature is the exact same as in that game, and so is the focus on staying in cover, but Hitman was never about such nonsense, especially since Conviction had the decency to save your progress often, and keep encounters limited to just a few henchmen at a time. The Contracts mode is an interesting addition, as it replaces story objectives with player-based ones, but the absence of a level editor means you're stuck with the single-player missions, nerfing the potential replay value the mode could have offered. Frankly, it's missing the point. Absolution could have easily been the best Hitman game. Contrived story aside, the new gameplay additions, significantly improved AI and visuals, and surprising length make this a game to consider, but it ends up being the worst in the series. Earlier games might not be as cinematic or have comparable AI, but they were fun, and they could be approached both by brute force and sneaking. They simply gave the player more options, not to mention less frustration, as you could save at any time. As punishing as the original Codename 47 was, the only game without so much as checkpoints, at least it had some personality. IO Interactive is sitting on a gold mine, as the AI and graphics are so impressive, their next game could simply reuse them. Let's hope that next time they're accompanied by competent design.